That's it. You saw the thumbnail, you read the title, and you clicked on it, and there is no mystery. I'm reading 50 pages a day for 2 weeks, but there are 2 complicating factors, which is, actually there are 3, but let's go. 2 complicating factors, which is, I'm a slow reader. I read roughly 15 pages per hour, I take many notes, I read with a dictionary, and that's the 3rd factor actually, because I'm not a native English speaker, so many words I do not know, and I need to be translating or seeing the definition in English, and that slows me down even further. So if you do the math, it will take me 3 hours roughly to finish the 50 pages per day with a 9-to-5 job and other stuff on the side, life. It will be quite a challenge, but I'm confident I can do it. And the second one is actually that I'm trying to read the classics, the great books of all time. And I've read quite a few already, but I'm reading now Dune. So I'm halfway through it and I'll continue on it with the challenge going. I already have others here. I have Frankenstein from Mary Shelley. I have Dracula from Bram Stoker. It's just that I got a cheap deal with all of these fantasy books, but I have others in store as well. I have some Jane Austen stuff, and I'll keep going on that. So wish me luck, let's see how it goes. And the first day is already going, it's today. I'm at 30-ish pages already, but I still have some time. It's still around 6 p.m. I have some time after dinner, I'll read a little bit, and hopefully I'll get them. Let's go, see you later. Okay, so today is day 2. And yesterday I could read 40 pages. It was a lot and I really pushed through it, but in the end of the day I couldn't read the 50. I'll try to compensate today, but I'm not sure I'll be able to. But still, I'm aiming for the 50 pages today. I'm still reading Dune, as I told you in the other video. And the thing is that it's a really good book. I really enjoyed the reading. The Frank Herbert, the author, had a crazy, powerful imagination, but that's not it. It's also the main character is very good. The main characters, so the Muad'Dib and his mother, they're really good. Their interaction is really good. And I'm afraid of reading too fast and not being able to keep the information in my memory, because I realize some people do this. They don't really care, just want to finish the book. And when they finished reading it, maybe they remember the main parts of it, but then the overall plot and everything, it's kind of blurred out in their mind. I don't want this to happen. Whenever I read something, I take the main parts of the book and I try to imagine them, really live it for myself. Of course, I won't do it for everything, but the main parts, yes, I do it. So yeah, it's been a good experience and I'm pushing through it. It's still midday, so roughly midday. So I have some time to finish the 50 pages today and we'll see how it goes. Yep. Anything else? No, I think that's it. Oh yeah, there's another thing. I was reading and crossing the words, highlighting the words that I didn't know, looking them up in the dictionary, and then writing them down in the book, because I was thinking, okay, someone who comes after me to read this book, they will understand these words if they had the same struggle as I do. But then it took so much time. So now I stopped doing it and I'm just searching them for their meaning and highlighting them, but not really writing what they mean. Just making sure I understand it, And this has saved me some time. Today I've read 17 pages in 1 hour-ish, so it's looking good. Let's go. So, welcome to day 3 of the 50 pages per day challenge. Yesterday I managed to read the 50 pages. It was not easy, I ended up late, but I managed to read it. And right now I am at page 46 or something. It's like 7 p.m. So I still have quite a lot of time. It's Sunday, so it helps. I had the whole day to read today. And the thing is, I didn't think about it, but when I started this book, so I'm reading Dune again for those that didn't see the other part of the video, the font is so small. I actually didn't think about it. I just thought, okay, 50 pages. But then if you consider it, if the font is bigger, then it's easier to read. Well, too bad for me. I'm reading it, I'm doing it, not quitting. And right now I'm at a very good part of the book. I just passed a very good part of the book. So for those of you that don't know the plot of the book, it is basically about the Atreides family, which is one of the big houses in this universe. The universe is basically, think of Star Wars with the Imperium. So there is an emperor of the universe, of a good portion of the known universe. And you have big houses that are like the aristocracy of their time. And one of them is the Atreides. And they have their own planet called Caladan, which plenty of water. Looks like Northern Europe or something like that, most of it. And they get assigned to the desert planet called Dune. And it's where the plot unravels. It is about treachery. It is about the development of the Duke's son called Poe, and of his relationship with his mother. It's a very interesting story, and the imagination and the vocabulary of the author are so rich. It's amazing. And sometimes I realize that I'm taking too long to read because I'm closing my eyes and I'm imagining myself in the spot, reliving the scenes, because they're so well described. And something that also doesn't help is that the author is so precise with the words. So for a similar thing, he has 50 words he uses across the book. And every time I'm looking them up in the dictionary. So that doesn't help. But hey, for those that know the movies, that watch the movies, I've just passed the end of the first movie and I've started the second movie with the introduction of Fade Rauta as the gladiator boy, soon to be Harkonnen leader. And the thing is, the books are surprisingly well, the book, right? Because the first book encompasses the two first movies of the series, of the new series by Villeneuve. And the thing is, the books, they are so close to the movies, or the other way around, right? The movies are so faithful to the books. Of course, there are some stuff that are different, some pieces that are cut out, but the main scenes, they are mostly there. So that's amazing. That's something that I really enjoy about it. And that's it. So today is almost gone. Tomorrow I'll be back with more news, and hopefully I'm on page 358, and the book is 500-ish pages long, 550-ish pages long, so I have at least 3 or 4 days to go. Wish me luck. I'll let you know how it's going, and see you tomorrow. So hey there guys, it's day 5 now. Yesterday I didn't record anything. I read 45 pages and it felt like a lot because yesterday was a busy day. I went to the office and I came back late, and after that I had to really push through the night to read it. The 45 pages that I managed to read, I didn't get to the 50, but I'm willing to compensate today. Today I'm at 30 already. I think I will have the time to it. And it's getting very booked, and it's getting very good, the book. You know, I'm almost at the end of it, if you can see from here. And I'm at a point where the main character, the Poe Atreides, which is now Muad'Dib, which is also the name of the desert rat with the big ears, he is a recognized leader, and people are yearning for him to step up and challenge the current leader, which means a battle to the death. And the current leader also knows that, and they are friends, so this creates a very sad tension between the two of them, which is also very good. It's very well put in the book. And Poe has just ridden the worm. If you've seen the book, there is this moment where he rides the worm and he becomes officially Fremen, which is the people of the desert. They are the people of the desert. So this is actually a quite good point in the book, because it has a lot of tension. It's not a lot of stuff happening, but it has a lot of tension. And also there is a weird thing that is not in the movie but is in the book. Not weird, but different from the movie, which is Chani and Poe. Chani is the romantic pair of Poe from the Fremen tribe. She has a child with him. So this does not appear in the movie, at least not in the first 2 movies. I think they removed it altogether. And this is an important difference as I see it. So she has a different kind of attitude towards him in the book than she has in the movie. I think that in the book she is more a more loving person. Later in the movie she becomes like that, but in the book she's kind of like that from the beginning. And also the sister of Poe is born, and she has kind of a unified consciousness with herself and all of the other Reverend Mothers that existed in the past in the Fremen tribe. And this is kind of cool as well. It's disturbing but cool. She's like a 2-year-old who thinks and acts like an adult. Bit disturbing, but still cool. So yeah, and another thing that always gets to me is how the language of this book is so poetic. Like the way the author describes the stuff, like the sunset and the emotion of the people. And there is a very interesting thing, which is he always puts into words what the characters are thinking. Like they think out loud for us to see, but the others, they're just thinking, and it's written what they're thinking, and usually it's very interesting stuff. And there's just another thing I would like to talk about, that is, this book is very inspiring to me because it is like a reminder of what real life is like. Because we live in lives that are almost like fake lives. We don't have to care about food, shelter. Most of us, at least, don't have to care about that stuff. We have jobs that pay enough for us to pay the bills and have food and the basic needs. And these people, they struggle even with that, and they live around that, and you don't have the bullshit complaints that we have about life and this kind of stuff. And they trust each other. So it is, for me, it's a very good thing. It brings you back into reality, grounds you again if you really think about it. And you compare the scarcity of resources they have with the richness of the other houses, and how the other houses are surrounded by treachery and plots to kill each other. So in the end you think, is it worth it to be that wealthy and live this shitty of a life? Yeah, at least I do think that. So yeah, that's where I'm at. I'm at page 440 of 550-ish. So probably 2 more days to go at least. And I'll keep you guys updated. And that's it for today. I'll read a little bit and let you know how it went. See you tomorrow. Hello guys, welcome to day 7. So I didn't record yesterday because for no reason. No, actually there was a reason. I was reading a lot. And you know, I managed to do it. I did it, I finished it. So I finished Dune. And the first book, of course. And I had to speed up a little bit, I need to confess, because at some point in the afternoon of day 5, I thought, maybe I read too slowly. And I took a reading test online. And in the end, I noticed that I read at 175 words per minute, which is not so bad, but it's not great either. And I wished to speed up a little bit, so I asked our pal ChatGPT how I could do it, and he actually gave me worthwhile suggestions. One of the things he said that I might be doing, and I was actually doing, was rereading passages although I had understood them. And I know why I did that. I did that mostly because I wanted to be sure that the passage was impregnated in my mind. But it was not always necessary. When it is a big thing, like a big event in the book, okay, do that, and I like to do it. But when I'm reading normally, you just go through it. And I forced myself to speed up just a little bit, because I felt that I had a little buffer of speed that I could use to speed up, and that resulted in me reading in day 6 and 7 more than 50 pages. I actually think I read like 60 in day 6 and 70 something in day 7, and I managed, I did it, I finished this one. And I'm happy about it because it is a very thick, big book. Although the letters are a bit small, you probably cannot see it from there. They are a bit small. And the pages are small, but the letters are also small. That's what I meant. And overall, the book is very good, just to give you my impressions on it. And in the end, the evolution of Paul Muad'Dib, which is the main character, the boy, right, in the movies, is amazing. And I'm also surprised by how much the movies mimic the book. I mean, there are important parts. I'll give you a spoiler, but it's not that big. They have a son in the book. I mean, maybe it's big. I don't know, I'll let you judge. But they have a son in the book, Chani, so the romantic pair of the protagonist and him. They have a child, which doesn't appear in the movie, but it really doesn't affect the plot that much, the fact that it doesn't appear in the movie. Probably it will in the future, but not right now. And if you read the book, you'll see why. But overall, it is very close. It is very close. And one thing that is very clear in the movie is that when Paul Muad'Dib transcends to actually become the Kwisatz Haderach, or the Messiah, let's say, he becomes a bit ruthless. It's like if he had lived many lives and he sees everything with more depth. So cruelty is not that cruel for him, but also love, I believe. It's very nice. I really enjoyed seeing his evolution. And in the end, well, if you've seen the movies, it's what happened in the movies. And it was pretty good. A pretty good read, although it was a bit hard, and I really enjoyed it. So I finished this one, and I recommend it. Really good book. If you enjoy science fiction, well thought out and poetic, read this one. I'd say it's a must. And I've passed on to something else. And by chance, like by coincidence, my wife just got a gift from a friend. And guess what it was? What is it? Just a second. Okay, so I got it, and like a crazy coincidence, she got this gift from a work colleague, which was actually a gift from a third person that also gifted her the first one. So actually, that third person gifted her the first one, which I'm reading right now, and then that other person that got a gift from this third person had received this one, and they said, okay, I've read it, do you want it? And she accepted it and gave it to me. Very good, thank you. So yeah, I'm reading it after, but I decided to give a break. It was too much sand, too many sandworms, too much blood, and actually a hard read. Dune was not easy to read, not easy at all. So maybe for you it will be, or it was, but I gave up on it. Not gave up on it, like I put it on halt. And right now I am reading an easier one, much easier, and I'm reading faster, right? So I'm cruising, guys. I'm cruising. I'm just, wow, so fast. And this is George Orwell, The Animal Farm, and I like it very much so far. I started reading it today, but as I told you, I unlocked my new power, which is reading speed, and I think I am understanding stuff. I think I'm not just going through the words without grasping the meaning. I try to recreate the movie in my head, and that's working, I think. I believe it's working. So right now I'm on page, it's a very small book, as you can see. Let me compare it to Dune. So you have Dune and you have this. It's like 1/5 of it. And the font is also small, but the margins are pretty big. So yeah, there's that. And it has like 120 pages, and I'm at page 80. Told you, I'm fast now. And this book is about a farm where the owner is kind of a guy who gave up on life, basically. He was sued many times, he had some disappointments in life, and he was a bad farmer, let's say. Let's put it like that. He was portrayed as a bad farmer. And then one day a dying pig, which is kind of the elder of the farm, assembles the animals in the barn and like preaches for a revolution. And there is a very clear image of communism. You cannot deny it. So they're basically doing the communist revolution in the farm, where the animals are the rebelling people, and they are led by the pigs, because the pigs are, according to the book, the most intelligent animals in the farm. They can read, even they can understand stuff the others cannot. And it's very nice because actually it's like a lighter version of a book I just read, which is 1984 from George Orwell as well. It's like a condensed version of that, and a more, how can I put it? A light version of that, because it's with animals, right? And it's not as harsh as the other one. But still, very good. So far, the rebellion has happened, the animals have taken over the farm, and the pigs, they started acting out. They started being treacherous, betraying one another. It's like Lenin and Stalin, if you know the story. One chases the other, chases them out of the farm and blames everything on them, and then they create this kind of ambience of doubt where everyone suspects everyone else, and the animals, the other animals, they're kind of dumb. Not really dumb, but they're naive, they're very naive. And there's a horse who does all of the work, and he thinks that everything can be solved by working more and working harder. I'm waiting for the point where he breaks a leg or something like that and everything comes crumbling, which is kind of happening already while he's healthy. So let's see. And there's a very clever twist, which is the pig, the Napoleon pig, which is kind of the dictator, right? He managed to take control of the farm by casting out Snowball from the farm, which was the other pig, the head of the revolution, let's put it like that. How he came to be in power is very clever. He took 9 puppies of 2, how how do you say that? How do you say female dog? Of 2 female dogs, he took 9 puppies from them and raised them in an isolated place, secluded, and taught them to obey only himself. So in the end, he had all of the power to himself because he had the power to kill. Basically, that's it. And the only one who could somehow oppose him, the only ones who could oppose him, which were the horses, they were too docile. So there you have it. And so far, I'm at a point where the farm is kind of in shambles, and the Napoleon pig, although he rules with force and by fear, he's also rewriting history. So he's gaslighting all of the other animals to say things that happened didn't actually happen, and everything good that happens is because of him, of Napoleon, and he's making alliances with his former enemies and saying they were never enemies in the first place. So if you've read 1984, it's much like Oceania, Eastasia, and Eurasia. So there are 3 farms, the animal farm and 2 adjacent farms, which are controlled by humans yet still. And the other 2 farms like Eastasia and Eurasia. So if you read the book, you know what I'm talking about. And that's it. I'm liking it very much. Actually, this challenge is being so good for me because I have started reading much more. And I've started optimizing my time. So when I'm eating, I'm reading. And it's become natural to me. And sometimes I'm in the toilet and reading as well. I'm doing nothing, so I pick up a book. So yeah, great experience. I'll let you guys know how it goes with the animal farm. I'm almost done with it. And I think when I finish it, I'm either going to pick up Dune 2, which is called Dune Messiah, or I'm picking up something else a bit different like Frankenstein. What do you suggest? You cannot reply to me yet. Okay, that's fine. I'll have to ask someone else. We'll see. I'll let you guys know. And that's it for today. I see you tomorrow. Oh, you guys are there. Okay, fine. Wow, welcome to day 9 of my challenge. And it is with great pleasure that I announce that I just finished The Wonderful Animal Farm. Well, this is actually a very good book. It is, I started it on day 7. Let me catch my notes here. So, I started on day 7, 2 days ago. Yesterday I just recorded myself reading a little bit, but I actually finished it yesterday. It has 110 pages. I told you guys before it was 120, but actually no, it's just 110 pages. But it is a very quick and easy read. Aside from the farm vocabulary I had no idea on, so I had to be translating all the time. But the first day I read, incredibly, I read like 74 pages, something like that. Yeah, I was surprised myself. But as you can see, it's not very big and it's fine, easily readable. And this is, like it says in the beginning, kind of a fairy tale, because in the end it kind of mixes, aside from the whole thing that animals run a farm, okay, fine, let's just put that aside. But then in the end, the pigs are kind of becoming humans. And I enjoyed it very much. It was like a refreshing view on the 1984. I know it's not the same, but it's like a more fairy tale like version of 1984, and it is more suitable for younger audiences, I would say. And just so it goes, near the end, the pigs that manage the farm, I told you in the beginning, so the pigs are managing the farm, and they start ever more becoming like a burden on the other animals, and the animals are living worse off than they were under the rule of the human beings. But then they at least say to themselves that, okay, now we are free, we are ruled by our own, we make our own decisions, except they do not. And the pigs are all about lying and profiting of the labor of the others, and yeah, that's it. It's very good, I recommend it very much. Quick, if you are a fast reader, you can read it in one day. And I finished it on day 8, and I was wondering what the hell should I read next. I had no idea, right? So I was considering Dune 2, but I wasn't sure. Maybe it was too quick to go back to that. And in the end, I picked up something that I enjoy very much because, I actually grew up playing Vampire the Masquerade, the tabletop RPG. It's kind of a nerd, but yeah, I liked it. So I picked Dracula from Bram Stoker. I watched the movie already, so I kind of know the plot, if it is similar to the book, of course. The movie with Keanu Reeves and what's the name of the other guy? Well, lots of famous people in it. And I enjoyed it. It was good, so I picked it up. I didn't watch the Nosferatu recent one, but I want to do it. And this book, I started it on day 8. I read a couple of pages, and then on day 8, on total, I read 46 pages, but I'm being kind of lenient to myself, because... Just a second. Some green tea, because today is kind of... Oh no, disaster. Today is cloudy and a bit of warm tea is good. So I'm being lenient to myself because I'm reading more than necessary on some days. So I've read, on some days I read 70 pages, 80 pages, and now I just read 46 yesterday. So that's fine. I told myself that's fine. And I started reading Dracula. And so I Googled a little bit about the author first. The book was written in the end of 19th century. So the author was an Irish guy called Abraham Stoker, if I'm not mistaken. Went by Bram Stoker. And he wrote this near the end of his life. And, I found something interesting that I would like to share with you guys, which is he had an instance on novels that was opposed to the... Because he was a Christian. He was from the Church of Ireland. I think it was an Anglican church, and he was a Christian with a very clear a set of moral rules, and you get it, right? But he opposed vehemently the idea that novels should be all about virtue and should not depict vices and morally wrong stuff, because he believed that by showing the vices and the burden they take, the toll they take on the person, on the soul, you put forward the virtues. And it is a quite interesting view. It made me think of The Picture of Dorian Gray, which I read a while ago. If you know the story, you know what I'm talking about. Where the painting of the Dorian Gray takes on his sins and becomes ugly. So I felt it was worth sharing this piece. And just to tell you about the story is about this guy, Jonathan Harker, which is solicitor's clerk. He's basically going to advise the Count Dracula, which is a count in Transylvania, a state in that time in the border of two other states, Moldavia, if I'm not wrong, and Bukovina, what is it? Moldavia and Bukovina, yes, Bukovina. And he goes there, and all around when he arrives in the place and in the neighborhoods, people are all saying, man, are you crazy or what? But in their own languages, and he just get pieces of it. Man, this is a haunted place, vampires, werewolves, a lot of legends and folklore, right? But he's like, yeah, okay, right. He's not 100% a non-believer in that kind of stuff, but still, he's skeptical. And when he arrives and meets Count Dracula, because he's advising Count Dracula on the buying of a property in London, Count Dracula wishes to move to London. He feels all around this weird, gloomy atmosphere, right? And he lives mostly by night because Count Dracula is always saying, oh man, I need to go out by day. And when he comes back, he keeps talking to the guy the whole evening until it's dawn, and then he retreats to his quarters. So that's basically it for now. I'm enjoying it. It's very gloomy already, and the format of the book is very interesting. It is like their diaries from Jonathan Harker himself, and he's always saying, I wish I weren't here, this place makes me uneasy, and I wish I never came, actually, but he has to fulfill his duty, right? And so yeah, that's it so far. Interesting book. I'll tell you more about it when I read more. And that's it. I'm on day 9. I wish to finish it by the end of the challenge. I'll give it a little push. I'm not sure I can, because this is a much harder book to read than the Animal Farm. The vocabulary is so old-fashioned, let's say. I don't know many words, and it has 480 pages. So if I stick to the 50 pages per day, it's going to be almost 10 days, which is a lot. Maybe I'll push through a little bit, but that's it. So yeah, I'll keep reading. I'll tell you guys how it goes. And hopefully by the end I'll have finished these 3 books, Dune, Animal Farm, and Dracula. And we can see for the future. See you guys tomorrow. Bye bye. Hey there guys, today is day 11. I didn't remember, I just checked here in my notes. Yesterday, still reading Dracula, I read 52 pages and the book is getting very interesting. I don't know if you know the story, but I'll tell you as far as I've gotten. I don't know if I told you in the last day, I'll tell it all again, but just real quick. It's about this guy who goes as a solicitor, so someone who is procuring something for someone else, to Count Dracula in Transylvania. This guy called Jonathan Harker, right? And he is from London, he goes there, and upon arrival he sees many eerie signs, he sees many mysterious things, uncanny even, like wolves howling, and the locals like making signs of crosses and telling him not to go, etc. Stuff like this. And when he gets to the castle and meets Dracula, all of a sudden he realizes there is something wrong. He's a bit skeptical, but he's not the classical fool from movies that makes fun of the supernatural. Let's say he takes it seriously, but he's reluctant to admit that he's in dire straits. Let's put it like that. So when he goes to the castle, soon enough he gets locked in the castle, and then he starts realizing that he only talks to Dracula at night. Like he's never up in the morning, he never eats, he always has excuses for that. And very early on the book, like in the first 30 pages I believe, you get this feeling that the main character, one of the main characters, because there are many, the book is actually structured with letters and journals, so diaries. We follow the diary of the main character in the beginning, so let's see if I can show you this. So it starts chapter 1 with Jonathan Harker journal. I don't know if you can see it. I will not shift the focus because I will not get it right again. And the journals, they have entries dated. And the author, he puts the entries in a sequence that makes sense and usually weaves them together with other characters. One of the other characters is the fiancé of the main character, Jonathan Harker, one of the main ones actually. There are many protagonists, as I mentioned. So her name is Mina. There is her friend as well, which is Lucy. And there are the pretendants of Lucy as well. One of them, which is a psychiatric doctor. He actually is like the director of a psychiatric hospital. And he has a very interesting patient, which is relevant to the story actually. So there is actually, in the story, there's nothing useless. Most things are useful and they connect with each other. This is very clever and very nice. So the whole thing is, Jonathan Harker starts noticing weird stuff in the castle, and the plot unravels very quickly. He sees Dracula going off the walls, like heads down into the pit and climbing on the walls, but in reverse. How do you say that? Like a lizard going down on a wall? So yeah, that, lurking, maybe that's the word. I don't know, but you got it. And he has weird dreams with the succubus of Dracula, which is like these lady vampires that want to suck the life out of him, and Dracula forbids them of doing so because the man is still important. What's the plan of Dracula so far is to buy land in London. He wants to move from Transylvania to London, but for some reason he needs to ship lots of sand from Transylvania to London. If you've seen the movie, you know why. I'm not going to spoil it because I didn't reach this part in the book. But yeah, and there is nothing from the point of view of Dracula so far. It's everything from either Jonathan's point of view or Mina's or Lucy's. And at some point, Lucy and Mina, they are very close friends. And Jonathan stops replying, right? Because he's basically a prisoner in the castle of Dracula. And meanwhile, life goes on in London and in the surroundings. And this friend of Mina, Lucy, she is engaged to a friend of the director of the psychiatric hospital. And she's the one targeted by Dracula, because Dracula lands in Whitby, which is like a coastal city bit far from London, and they happen to be there at that time. Lucy and Mina like taking vacations or something. And when Dracula lands there in the form of a weird man or a wolf or something, Lucy starts dream walking, and weird things happen. Mina sees her kind of being sucked by a big bat. It's not so explicit in the book. It's like she sees a big bird near her friend while she's daydreaming, while she's dream walking, and she's outside of the house, so she doesn't really see what's going on, and when she gets there, the bird is gone. In another instance, Lucy goes dream walking into the East Cliff, and Mina sees her from the distance, and there is a tall, dark, gloomy figure with red gleaming eyes. Stuff like this, right? Very good book so far, and a bit scary. Not in the jump scare kind of way, but in the unsettling, mysterious kind of way. And the psychiatric patient, that I mentioned before, he's kind of a servant of Dracula. The guy starts just crazy, and then he evolves into a servant of Dracula. And these stories will get intertwined because I've watched the movie. I know if the movie didn't differ too much from the book. And right now I'm on page 148 when something very interesting just happened. So after Lucy she becomes possessed by Dracula's will. Whenever he's around, she starts dream walking, and she starts getting ill, and she's like lacking blood, which is a good indication of what's the problem, right? With some prickles in her neck. But yeah, never mind. And Mina and the husband-to-be of Lucy, called Arthur, which is an important person in the region, asks help from the friend, Dr. Seward, which is the director of the psychiatric hospital, right? And the doctor goes there and he sees nothing wrong with her, but he calls for help, and guess who is coming for help? Dr. Van Helsing of Amsterdam. So here the plot is getting nice. So it's page 148, as I mentioned, and I'm excited about it. I'm anxious to see how it's going to unravel, but Dr. Van Helsing is presented as some kind of genius with a big heart and sympathetic with people and very virtuous and still open-minded. So yeah, that's it. I'm not gonna lie, it's been hard to read the 50 pages of this every day because the vocabulary is much older. You know, the book was written in the end of the 19th century. So for me, it's a bit of a challenge, but it's getting easier. As I go, I start to understand better, and it's funny to see how more refined the writing is if you compare with modern day fiction. Most of it, of course, there are good stuff. But even if you compare to other more simple books like The Animal Farm I just read, the writing is much more, you get it, right? So today I'm in a bad situation because I still need to read like 25 pages and it's already like 10 p.m. almost. I need to work tomorrow, but yeah, a challenge is a challenge, right? Cannot back down now. I only have 3 days to go. I don't think I'll be able to finish the book, but still, I'll tell you how it went. I'll keep you updated and I'll do a big summary and wrap up of how it was these 14 days of this challenge soon enough. So see you guys there. Hey guys, today is day 15 of the 14 days challenge. What? Yeah, I know, right? But I figured that you guys had too much of me after day 11, and I also was very busy, so I couldn't record anything in between. But here I am, and I want to make a wrap up for this video because it's been a long journey. It doesn't seem like it for you maybe, but reading 50 pages a day, if you're not used to it, and even if you were a slow reader, now I got a little bit faster, is a lot. It's roughly 700 pages. I'll put here in the screen somewhere the actual amount of pages I've read in this period, but it felt like a lot for sure. Sometimes I had to sleep late because of this, but it was totally worth it. So before I jump to my conclusions and what I take away from this experience, which was great, by the way, I wanted to just do a recap. So in the beginning of the challenge, I was reading Dune already. So these are the 3 books I read in this challenge. I didn't finish Dracula, I'll get to that. In the beginning of the challenge, I was reading Dune. and was like around 1/5 of the book. So I read a lot of Dune. And then after that, I finished Dune around day 8, maybe 7, 8, yeah, around that maybe, yeah. And then I started The Animal Farm, but this is such an easy and nice read that I read it in like 2 days. One day I read 70 pages, and the other I finished it. It has 110 pages, roughly. And then I picked up Dracula. I wasn't sure at first, but I picked up Dracula from Bram Stoker, and I don't regret it. It is so good. And right now, I am at page 340 of 400, almost 500, and I'm almost there. I'm seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. So I'll put this aside a little bit, and I'll go back to Dracula. So last time I was at day 11, we had just met Van Helsing, right? So Lucy, this character Lucy, which is a very fair, beautiful lady, she was sick. She had been sleepwalking. I kept saying dream walking, I don't know why, but she had been sleepwalking, and she had been under the spell of Dracula. So no one knew what to do. And one of the main characters, which is Dr. Seward, the guy that on his own words, not me, runs a lunatic asylum. So this guy calls his friend Van Helsing from Amsterdam. And then the plot really catches on. So when Van Helsing arrives at Whitby, the place where Lucy is, he starts suspecting that there is something weird there. And she's so pale, so weak, and he figures that she's lacking blood. So what he does, he makes a transfusion, and the first donor of blood is Lucy's fiancé. But then, by the irony of destiny, I will kind of be quick here. Van Helsing has already understood what's happening, so he orders like garlic flowers to be put on the room of Lucy and around the windows and the window sills and everywhere. So it's garlicky everywhere, right? And he orders that somewhere is with Lucy at all times. But then her mother one day comes and opens the window because it smelled so much of garlic in there. And the same thing happens. She wakes up worse than the day before, pale, kind of weak, and they realize, okay, it happened again. They are not sure what's going on because on the days they stay there watching her, nothing happens. But then some days they need to go home to do something or they are super tired and they keep someone watching her, but this person messes up. Another day, it's the Dr. Seward who stays in the room besides her, thinking nothing will go wrong, and something happened. Like, it's always small stuff, right? So something happened, and again, there we go. And by the end, she has taken blood from her fiance, like donated blood, of course. She didn't drink her, she's just ill. From this Dr. Seward, from an American guy, which is a very good character, I find. An American guy called Quincy Morris that used to like her as well. All of these three guys liked her, but she chose her fiance, which he's called Arthur. And even Van Helsing himself. And I don't know if I should spoil you guys, so this is a spoiler, I'll put some spoiler alerts here. What happens is, because of this sleeps, she ends up dying. At some point, she gets to a non-recoverable situation, and Van Helsing says, okay, this is the end for her, but not the real end. And he already understood it all, right? He understood there's a vampire, but the others are very skeptical. And she ends up dying, gets buried, it's very sad, it's tragical. Her mother dies as well. And the way she dies, the mother, it's kind of brutal. And the nice thing is, while this is all happening, so she dies, Mina, which is the fiance of the first character that appears, Jonathan Harker, the guy that went to Transylvania, she actually receives news from him that he's in a hospital somewhere in the middle of East Europe, or in, is it Budapest, I think? I'm not sure, but I think it's Budapest. And she goes see him, and she writes letters to, she's very worried about him, of course, and he says, please do not read my diary because there is everything written there about Dracula and everything, but he's not sure if he's crazy or not, and he doesn't want to make her worry about something that might not be real. So she respects it and does not read it. And in the meantime, she writes to Lucy. And the letters never get read, of course, because Lucy died, but the one who gets them is Van Helsing, because he wants to see all the documents that she had, and one of these documents are the letter from Mina. So the long story short, they all catch up somehow. Van Helsing writes to her and says that he would like to meet up with her, and when they meet, a while later, they talk about the experiences, like they feel that there is something there that is unspoken, and they talk about their experiences with the apparently unnatural side of things in this matter, and they end up sharing information. And that there's something clicks, like they're, oh, okay, so we're not all crazy. Van Helsing knew it already, but the others didn't. And then he goes on to convince the others that he's not crazy. And the toughest one is the doctor, because he's that kind of guy, like the science guy, that everything is material and we cannot explain things, but there is an explanation that is perfectly natural, you know? And Van Helsing is like, he goes on to long lengths to prove that some things you cannot really explain. And this is a very nice aspect of the book. Another thing that is very nice, so they end up finding Lucy that has become an undead, how they call her, which is a vampire, but she's kind of a soft version of a vampire because she only does mischievous things and malevolent things when she's asleep. It's kind of weird because she was bitten when she was asleep, so she got stuck into this. When she is sleepwalking, she's mean, she's bad, she's evil, but when not, she's fine. So they go there, the fiancé sees it, and they end up killing her. The fiancé does it himself, and so far all is well. They seem to be progressing. The point I'm at now, things are a bit trickier because they are now investigating Dracula. They figured out that his plan all along was to move to London. He bought that house. Jonathan Harker gets better. He comes back to London as well, to Exeter, and they all meet up and they form this group, right? And they are now investigating, okay, so his plan is to actually take the boxes because he needs to be attached to the land, to his motherland. And he was a count that belonged to a great lineage of people. They were good people, but he dealt with the devil or something like that. So he's attached to the land and he wants to come to London because there is much more people, right? But he needs to bring the land with him. And they explain that he has many powers. He can become a wolf, he can turn into mist and stuff like that. So they start investigating him and seeing that he has dispatched his sand to multiple places around London to kind of be able to move around, right? And they get worried and they pledged among themselves that they would get rid of him. And while they're doing so, one day Mina is alone at the asylum because they're kind of living there, they're all together. And she sees a white mist coming to the house and climbing up the walls, and she's like, yeah, it's just a mist. And this part I found a bit disappointing because she was there when Van Helsing was explaining to her the powers of Dracula, and she just thinks it was all a dream. Like she says, okay, I had a weird dream, or I felt like heavy, my limbs were heavy, and there was this white mist coming through the cracks in the door and on the walls, and it had this, like, the lamp was shining weirdly. It was these two red gleaming dots high up, was a weird reflection of the lamp. So she kind of rationalizes the fact that she had seen Dracula and she thought in the form of mist, and she thinks that it was just a dream. And the next day she wakes up pale and weak and she doesn't connect the dots. Come on, she's so smart. She's really smart. And I'm at this point now where they're investigating, but she's falling prey to Dracula without knowing it, and the others are so busy they don't stop to take care of her and to look at her. And this is a bit disappointing, but okay, fine. The rest is so good. And there's one thing that's very interesting in this book. All of the characters, they are very virtuous people. Honorable men and women as well. And they have this sense of duty. They do not shrink before the adversity. It's crazy, huh? This is a good role model for young people, I would say. You might say it's a bit idealized, yes. I take that, yeah, I accept that. But still, very good people. I really like the characters. And one thing I would like to add is that one thing the book is organized like the letters put in order, right? And who does this is the characters. Mina and Jonathan Harker, they take all of the documents and they put them in sequence, chronological order. And that's what I'm reading, basically. It's genius. Like, I'm reading what the characters build themselves. And in the beginning, the first page says something like this has been assembled, collected, and put in order so that the facts may appear as they are, and you cannot deny the reality in them. Something like this. Bottom line, I'm still reading it. Not the 50 pages per day anymore, I think. It's too many pages, but for this book, of course, it's a harder read. I'm planning to keep reading like 30 pages per day, and that's fair enough. And if it's an easier read, I'll probably read more. And okay, so how was it, this experience? Going back from the books to the challenge itself. So reading 50 pages a day for 14 days, roughly 700 pages, right? Am I crazy? Is that 700? Yes, 700 pages. First thing is, it really helped me slow down in a sense, because, just a second, because to read those many pages, I had to stop scrolling on the phone, I had to take the book with me to the toilet, when I'm eating, I'm reading. I cut a lot of wasted time, let's put it like that. Not really leisure time, because I still take idle moments to sunbathe or to do something like watch a movie or something. But the doom scrolling, it stopped completely. So I'm very thankful for this challenge. And that's one thing. If I had just that, it would be worth it already. The second thing is, I became a faster reader, because at some point I said, okay, I'm reading too slowly, and what could I do to improve that? So I actually read stuff about this, and I found out that I was actually going back to the sentences many times to make sure I understood them. And I started trusting my understanding, and it worked. Like, instead of going back, I just had, okay, what did I just read? And fine, understood it, move on. Another thing is, my vocabulary is greatly improved right now, at least for reading, right? I see weird words, I understand them more easily, and that's very good as well. I mean, for me, it's important. I want to be able to not be looking in the dictionary stuff all the time. So that is been progressing for me, which is a great thing. And the other point I would like to talk about, is it the fourth point maybe, is that this challenge has made it very clear to me that I enjoy reading a lot, and I value it above many other things, like being on the phone and doing other stuff. That is also pleasurable, but delightful, but not quite as much. And I feel that I am getting a better grasp at people through the characters I read. Like, I can see them in people in real life, and that's one of the powers of literature. People often, they disconsider literature as a way of improving one's intelligence, but I find it quite the opposite. I find it one of the highest forms of developing oneself. So to sum it up, it has been a great experience. My wife is not very happy because I'm sleeping late reading all the time, but that's fine. And right now I'll just slow down a little bit, but keep on reading. And I will try to read at least 3 books per month or something like this. I think this is attainable. And I'll probably make videos about it in the future. So yeah, that's it. Just one thing for you guys that will stick around. I'm planning on reading. So yeah, I read 1984 this year already. I'm planning on reading Frankenstein from Mary Shelley, and also the second Dune. And after that, I don't know. I will take suggestions, but I'm only reading classics. So if you guys have good recommendations, I take it. And that's it. Thank you very much for having stayed so far. And tell me what you found about this video, about the challenge itself, if you're planning on doing it or something similar. It would be fun to see what you guys thought about it. So yeah. Thank you, and see you around. Bye bye.